Shalom, shalom, shalom. All glory and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. Brother Jose, Fisherman for Zion, coming at you again with another video through the spirit of Bashim Yahweh. Call of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Mashiach. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, who the word uses the title God in the name of his son, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who the word eagerly calls Jesus the Christ. Through the spirit of Bashim Yahweh, coming at you again with another video. Nevertheless, I don't count this as a light thing to do. All glory and honor to the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Mashiach, for another day in the land of living, another day in his truth, knowing our nationality, our heritage, laws, statutes, commandments, the hopeful elect Israelites, 12 tribes scattered abroad, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. Lord willing, this video will be edifying to you. All glory and honor to the Most High, for another day in the land of living, another day in his truth, to be able to do this. Peace and blessings to those on the highways and byways, spreading forth this truth across the four corners of the earth, day in and day out, week by week, Sabbath by Sabbath, doing the work, presenting their bodies a living sacrifice, no matter what, weather, no matter how hot, no matter how cold, no matter what the condition is, back pains, body pains, getting off of work, hindering, anything that's in the way, and putting away anything that may prevent the work from being done. Peace and blessings to you. Continue to present your body as a living sacrifice, mighty men. Getting your houses in order, and the wives and children. Peace and blessings to you. And those that may tune in, Lord willing, continue to reverence and magnify and glorify Yahweh Bashim Yahweh in your head through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. And to those that are finding out about his truth, peace and blessings to you. Continue to read, present your body as a living sacrifice as well through the spirit of Yahweh. Nevertheless, I believe I'm title this distractions. So in this day of life, we deal with a lot. A lot of people don't talk about it. A lot of people don't like to bring it up. Some people, brothers and sisters, like to be mighty. Not going into the reality of things that we deal with and things that we see and what's going on around us. We deal with distractions, and we have to have the word by us, around us, and always on our mind to be able to help us, maneuver and continue to stay ready and get ourselves ready for the second coming of Christ, Hamashiach, the Messiah, Yahweh Shah. So we have to understand that within this life, everything that we go through, whether we're married, whether we're single, whether we work, whether we are, going through troubling trials and tough times, that we're going to have distractions. And so the word can build us up, can help us, get ourselves in a better position to, deal with distractions. So we're going to get into it. But before we get into the lesson, I'm going to get this right quick in Proverbs. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 6. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So in everything we do, everything we think about, everything, that we allow to be time consuming, allow ourselves to be indulged in, sucked in, whether it's on the job, whether it's with our family, whether, it's school, and everything and anything that we do, we have to, acknowledge the Most High, the creator of heavens and earth, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. We have to acknowledge him. We have to acknowledge the Lord with everything we drink, consume, within our body, listen to, going down the highways and byways on the the highways, driving our car. We have to acknowledge the Lord. Even when we wake up in the morning, we have to acknowledge the Lord. Say, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to see another day. Thank you, Lord, for the, the activity of my limbs, blood running warm in my veins, being able to see, hear. We have to acknowledge the Lord with everything, regardless of what we have and what we don't have. If we have a little, if we have a lot, if we have, a bus route that we can get on to travel, or if we have a car, we have to acknowledge the Lord for everything and anything. Proverbs, going down chapter 3, verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. So we can't just always think we have the right way, or the right thing to always say, the right thing to hear, or whatever we thinking, or I have, the best friend in the world, I can never go wrong, or I have the best job, I can never go wrong, or, I kind of have my plan set out for how I want my future to be. We can't just be wise in our own mind, and we have to have a mind to always go forth back to the Lord. That's why we always say, to the brothers that understand, the spirit of the Most High and the word, Lord willing, we always have to, always have to keep ourselves at a level where we're not thinking ourselves to be so high, and we're not trying to guarantee things, not trying to guarantee things later on the day, not trying to guarantee things on if we have, set amount of money in our accounts, or if we have, enough groceries to get us through the week or the month, or whatever we thinking. We always gotta, look towards the Lord, and we gotta make sure, as it says, and depart from evil. So we have to always, have that mindset or some type of spirit of righteousness to at least hate evil, and we have to, if not, we have to make sure that we try to head towards that direction, to hate evil, depart from evil, So distractions. We all have distractions in our life, and we all have things that may try to, seem like it's always something, a rat race, as the world say, or something always going on. We having to adjust our time schedules and things that go on. We got to make sure that we make time for the Lord. And you may say it, but you got to make sure that within what you're saying, you're actually putting the actions. You're actually putting forth the effort to getting things done. Making time for the Lord, can be a plan. You can plan to make time for the Lord, but you actually have to put forth that action. So let me get this right quick. And 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse 8. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober. So, what is Peter saying right here? Be sober. Meaning, you have to have some control. You have to have some type of control. You can't control what's going to happen, in the next hour. You can't control, and what I mean by saying you can't control what's going to happen in the next hour. Like, you may be on your way to work, but you can't control whether or not, the light is going to turn green when you want it to turn green, or whether or not, you want the traffic to just be how you want it to be. You can say, well, I got to be to work at 10 o'clock. So, I'm going to leave the house at 9:30, and, it takes me 10 minutes to get to work. So everything is going to be fine. I know I ain't going to have no problems. You don't know that. We can't control, how things are going to be manifest, so we have to have the control of what we can control. Like if something was bad, something bad happened, I should be able to control, how I react to certain things, or if somebody was to try to start something with me today, or try to get me out of my character, I should be able to control how I react, so things like that. So we have to have some type of control towards our spirit. And it reads 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, so you have to be in the mannerism of, keeping your spiritual guard up, always thinking about the Lord. What would the Lord do? How would the Lord react? How would the Messiah carry himself? How would he, guard himself in a spiritual war war zone, when all odds is against them, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So, hey, you always have to be aware to, the spiritual demon Satan, wants to be, against you, and it can be a family member, a family member can be against you. It can be, somebody on your job. It can be, it's just the spirit that's going to try to control, how things go against you, and you always have to keep your guard up. You have to make sure you watch yourself, because many distractions will come, but you can't give in to those distractions to where they pull you away from what you truly trying to do and what you truly trying to set, keeping your mind on the Lord. You got social media, you got financial, things, whether it be financial gain or, financial decreases, or, challenges, health problems, all the type of social media things, sports outlets, football, basketball, NBA, NFL, what this R&B artist is doing, what this rapper is doing. So you're going to have distractions around you, and it's okay to, have your mind on, okay, I want to go out to eat tonight, and when I get off work, I want to, do this and I want to do that, and I want to pick the kids up and I want to, take them to the park, and, it's nothing wrong with that. We understand that you don't want to be over righteous and, say, well, I'm going to read the Bible all day when I get off work, and I'm going to, I'm going to pray for 17 hours, and I'm a, we understand we're not going to be over righteous, but we want to be able to minimize distractions to the point where it's not taking us away from things that we need to better ourselves with, thinking about the kingdom of heaven, trying to forsake the flesh, because you want to be able to understand yourself to the point where if you continue to scroll for an hour or two on social media, then, hey, you got time to where you got to cook, or you may have to wash, or, you may want to sit down and talk to your spouse or your children. So that time that you just used scrolling on social media, it may have taken away from you praying, or you reading, or you meditating on righteous things. So we have to, be aware of the distractions that we may deal with. Everybody got distractions. My distraction may be different from your distraction. Your distraction could be, you making beats, or you writing songs, and it may take you hours on end to be able to get settled in your day. Are you getting carried away with, trying to get your day settled, or whatever it is? It could be a lot of distractions. It could be a little distractions. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's responsibilities are different, but we don't want to be overtaken by so many things in our day to the point where we're not reading, thinking about the Lord's word, where we're not praying and asking the Lord to, protect us and our children and our brothers and our sisters, things like that, So let me get this right here in Proverbs chapter 4. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse I'm going to start at verse 20. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 20. My son, attend to my words, and incline thy ear unto my sayings. So it's a lot of things that we can attend to, We can attend to, reading other things. Some people like to read blogs, and they like to read, certain things on whatever they're into, sports and mechanics and whatever, they like to get into all type of other stuff. But we should be leaning more towards attending to the spiritual things that can get us in a better direction, forsaking the flesh and the cares of this world. Reading on, Proverbs 4:21. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. So, when we attending to the Lord's word, more so meditating on things that we need to improve in our day-to-day life, whether if it's anger or whether if it's putting off pride and proud spirits, and, trying to better ourselves in our relationship with our spouses, and, trying to get our children to the point where, they can do things differently in righteousness. We got to make sure that we keep things in our mind. Verse 22, Proverbs 4:22, for they are life unto those that find them, and the health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So we have to keep, these things in our mind with diligence, with care, with some type of moral standard. Proverbs 4:24, put away from thee a forward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee. So, some brothers and sisters may, be working on themselves, trying to, have their communication a little different, saying things. They may be murmuring, they may be backbiting behind someone's back. And, we have to make sure that if we are not being aware of our distractions, it can cause us to do these things and we don't even know them. Proverbs 4:25, let thine eyes look right on, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. So we have to have our eyes looking straight on and looking towards the kingdom of heaven, looking towards Christ, looking towards our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai, and making sure we keeping our focus on that, and not, having our focus elsewhere, and we focus on everything else but, the kingdom of heaven, but Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And the next thing we know, we are slipping away, and going back into the world and giving into the flesh and worried about the wrong things, So let me get this in 1 Corinthians. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7. I didn't want to make this too long, something simple, something quick to meditate upon and be aware of, some exhortation, some encouragement to be able to keep our minds intact and say, hey, I have to minimize my distractions, because it's pulling me away from, if Christ comes back today, if I was to get in a car wreck, if I was to get in a coma, if I was to, be on my deathbed, if something was to happen, I have to be aware that I have to make sure I'm getting myself to the point where I'm not giving in to things that are distracting me, that are distracting from getting my salvation, in a more confident stance, because some people, they're not confident, when they lay down at night. I didn't do well today. I was being, hateful towards my brothers and sisters. I was, I wasn't praying. I wasn't reading, and then if you continue to, go to day by day and week by week, you're not going to be confident and wanting the Lord to come back. A lot of people are not confident in the second coming of the Messiah. They don't even want to think about it because they've given themselves so much to other things in this world, to women, to money, to men. If you're a woman, to a man, and if you're a man, to a woman, and trying to get rich and trying to get to the next level on video games and spending hours on end on video games and spending, 90 hours on the work job. We understand we got to take care of our responsibilities, but how much hard is it to just give the Lord a little bit more, because we have to always have that in our mind. I can give the Lord a little bit more, I can give him a little bit more. He allowed me to breathe today. He allowed me to see another day. He allowed me to understand, that I need to get closer to him. Let me get this before I get this right quick. This is James chapter 4. This is James chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 7. James chapter 4, verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God's power. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So, we got to submit ourselves more to the Lord, to the point where before we even do anything and before we even indulge in anything, we got to say, hey, well, I need to read first. I need to pray first. I don't deserve this. The Lord was able to give me this, so I need to acknowledge him. I need to give him his credit. I need to submit to him, and I need to flee from any lust, any distractions that are not want me to pray, not want me to come back to the Lord. Verse 8, James chapter 4, verse 8. Draw nigh to God's power, and he will draw nigh to you. So, we have to draw closer and closer to the Lord day by day. We have to draw closer to the Lord, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai. Because we so quick to draw close to social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, so quick to get ourselves to the point where we have to check on other things. We so quick to do that, so quick to make sure we get to work on time. And if we don't get to work on time, it's all hell breaking loose. We don't even want to talk to nobody. We don't even want to, show our faces if we're late. What if we're late reading? What if we're late praying? Why can't we be in a position that if we don't pray at a certain time of the day, if we don't read our word and get our minds and spirits to the point where we seeking the words of life, why isn't not to the point where, we don't even want to hear or be around nobody if we don't pray or read, So we have to draw more to the Lord to the point where if we're not praying and reading and studying and fasting and seeking the Lord, that we don't want nothing to do with the word. That's where we should be getting more towards. So reading this again, James chapter 4 and verse 8. Draw nigh to God's power, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. So more and more, day by day, we should be cleansing our hands, asking the Lord to forgive us for thinking evil of our brothers and sisters, asking the Lord to forgive us for any lust that we had in our mind, any evil thoughts, any wicked thoughts, any covetousness, any idolatry that we've had, anything that we put before him. We have to get more and more day by day, abound more and increase more to the point where we're asking the Lord to cleanse our spirits and our minds and putting away anything that's pulling us away from the Lord, and we have to make sure we fleeing from a lot of these things, So let me get this in 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I'm going to start at verse 35. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and starting at verse 35, and it reads, And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction. So Apostle Paul is, giving us a sense of understanding that he's not trying to lay some type of snare upon anybody, but he's giving us, the understanding of, we have to attend to the Lord without distractions, so much to the point that even if we was in a position in our life where we were married, where we had children, where we had entrepreneurship, we had ownership of these businesses, that we're looking towards the Lord without any distractions towards our salvation. you know, any distractions towards loving our brothers. No distractions towards making sure we taking care of our brothers if they down bad. You know, we always putting the Lord first. We always have a mindset of, I'm ready for the Lord to make his return. You know, I'm confident that, you know, he's gonna, you know, save me. Not that I'm guaranteed of salvation, but through me keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and me loving my brothers and sisters, loving another Israelite, me forsaking the flesh and the cares of this world, that I'm hoping with the confidence of him, you know, making sure that I can somewhat be delivered out of Babylon the Great, you know. So we have to attend to the Lord without distractions, you know, always filling our minds and our spirits with the words of life, you know. So let me get this right quick in Psalms. Like I said, I didn't want this to be too long, you know, just some encouragement, you know, to make sure we minimize distractions and that we are aware of our distractions. This is Psalms chapter 119, and I'm going to start at verse 15. Psalms 119 and verse 15, and it reads, I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. So we have to respect the Lord. We have to honor the Lord. You know, respect him to the point where, you know, we don't care who's around us or if anybody's around us. We gonna put the Lord first. We gonna do what we gotta do for the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You know, we gonna make sure that we have our conversation with the Lord. We're gonna make sure we glorify and thank him for food, for shelter, for clothes, for keeping our minds intact, for allowing us to have the activity of our limbs to be able to walk and talk if we can, and those that can. Thanking him for protecting, you know, those that know about this truth and those that are teaching this truth, so others can come back and come back to the Lord. You know, we have to respect the Most High to the point where, you know, hey, even if somebody is trying to hinder us, hey, we're not going to let them do that. You know, we're not going to give them that power. We're not going to give them, you know, the lead way. You know, we're going to minimize those distractions. You know, let me get this right quick in Lamentations. This is Lamentations chapter 5. This is Lamentations chapter 3. This is Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 20. And it reads, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. I'm going to go one more. This is Lamentations chapter 3 verse 19. And it reads, remembering my affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall. You know, and the wormwood and the gall is going to trials and tribulations, you know, all type of afflictions and things that we've been through. Verse 20, Lamentation 3 and 20, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. You know, so everything that the Lord has, you know, allow us to overcome and endure and still strive to continue to, you know, make it to the end of our mark. You know, hey, we're humble to the point where, you know, it don't matter what I go through and where I get in life and how high I get or how low I get. You know, we always humble to the point where we're going to continue to serve the Lord with no stop, man. You know, no intermission. You know, we're not letting nothing take us away and no distractions get in our way from giving the Lord his credit, you know. And even if he don't do anything else, he's still done enough, you know. Verse 21, Lamentation 3 and 21. This I recall to mind, therefore have I hope. You know, so this is what I'm recalling to my mind and having hope in. Verse 22, it is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is the Lord's faithfulness. He's faithful to us. So we got to strive to be more faithful to him. You know, we can't just let Satan come in and allow, if you a man, allow some woman to come by and snatch, you know, things that the Lord has done away from us. You know, hey, we got to stand firm and strong and hold on. You know, or if you're a woman, you just letting some man come and snatch away what the Lord has done, you know, and continue to do all of the good days, and, you know, all of the allowing you to get through bad days, and allowing things to be, you know, full excelling, you know, finances, you know. You don't even remember some of the stuff that the Lord did 7 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, and all of the evils that he kept from us, you know, should have been dead, you know, don't deserve grace and mercy, you know, and it's new every morning. All of the time that we should have just kept our minds on the Lord, and we turned our backs from the Lord, and we chose to do other things, you know, his grace and mercy is new every morning. You know, Lamentation 3:24, the Lord is my portion, said my soul, therefore will I hope in him. So the Lord has to be our portion. You know, we have to have more towards, I gotta do more for the Lord, because it's more that I need to do for him. That's the reason why I'm still living. He's the only reason why I'm still living. You know, he's the reason why I'm able to eat, breathe, sleep, and overcome, you know. Verse 25, Lamentation 3:25. The Lord Yahweh is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. So the Lord is good to those that wait for him and that seek him. You know, you have to seek the Lord more, and you have to wait more for the Lord, you know. So, this is just, you know, a quick encouragement. Don't want to be too long, but through the Spirit of Prayer, you know, don't count this as a light thing to do, but Lord willing, this is edifying to you. We have to minimize and be aware of any distractions that try to, you know, pull away our spirit towards the Lord day by day, and make sure we keep a firm mind on doing more for the Lord, and being aware of what's trying to pull us away from doing things for the Lord through the Spirit of Yahweh. Brother Hosea, fisherman for Zion, all glory and honor to Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shah. All praises, glory and honor to Yahweh Shah for another day in the land of living, another day in his truth. Lord willing, this was edified to you. Peace and blessings. Continue to read, pray, fast, present your bodies to live for sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Lord, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Kom Yahshua, Shalom.